Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's WWE SmackDown watch party featuring myself, Tom Colohue. Welcome Horsey, already in the chat. We are streaming live on both YouTube and Twitch tonight for the entirety of our good old-fashioned season premiere. A brand new season in the glorious world of Fox, SmackDown on Fox. But it was a hell of a launch, it was a hell of a party. There was a lot of The Rock, Baron Corbin and Becky Lynch, as we know. So let's see what they can deliver for us this time around. Of course, we are, for the first time, hearing the new commentary setup and seeing the brand new world as laid out by the world of SmackDown. We will see Roman Reigns, we will see Logan Paul, we will see Ronda Rousey. We are also seeing, as you might expect, Triple H. The QR code is literally on the microphone at this point. There is no way Triple H is avoiding the fact that he is holding it. He has himself hyped up the crowd, ready for Roman to walk down. Welcome, Stuart. How you doing, mate? I'm not big on the Bloodline's 3D graphics most of the time, but the actual family tree, quote-unquote family tree, that's pretty sweet. It's just a shame it then moves directly into the Usos. We have heard the word season premiere so many times already. So many times. Bailey says, how long will this take to walk down? Well, that is your season premiere. Well, they're not telling you. It is actually just Roman's entrance. I mean, you can't say they're not giving the fans what they want. The full Bloodline is in attendance. Sami Zayn, of course, using his shit immediately and just rocking out. Moxley says, Tom freaking Colohue. Welcome, Moxley. And Megan says, I couldn't scan the damn code. That is a shame. That is a shame. But it's okay. I'm sure it'll be on Twitter within, I'd say, seconds. Let's do an announcement tweet. When the QR code is on the microphone, doesn't it just scream Bray Wyatt to create website coding, present a recurring QR code, and, of course, break into the tech truck, swipe the microphone covers, and generate new imagery? Screams him. We have formally introduced Wade Barrett, who has promised Michael Cole he'll be his favourite husband of all time. Fair, Stuart, and I'm sure we're going to see plenty more of it as the show goes through. They desperately want people to see the QR codes, even though they're not personally referencing them. Sean says, I saw the plan for SmackDown. Fightful had Roman on last. Things must have changed. Didn't change to my knowledge, but as we know, Fightful has been wrong on the reports as to the layouts quite a few times recently. I suspect they might be getting fed wrong information, and people may be losing their jobs because of it. Hey, Connor, how you doing, mate? I hope you're good. Simon says, just dropping in, Tom, to tell you that Sean Ross Sapp's Fightful sources were off tonight. No SmackDown rundown plans or anything for the first time. Well, I suspect their source then may have been caught and removed. Connor says, I'm good, mate. How's you been? Been very, very good. Cheers, Connor. It's just a very, very good time to be me. I mean, a lot of you were here during the times when it wasn't so good to be me. And I'd imagine quite a lot of you recall the times when it wasn't such a good time to be me. That is not the case now. It simply isn't. Now is just a very good time to be me. I'd say I opened a cold one, but I literally got it off the floor next to me, so you all know. Also, it's orange, so that should be a giveaway. The Bloodline are still technically making their entrances. Cheers, Connor, mate. I appreciate it. How are you doing? Like, beyond the cupboard. I think it's time to learn about Connor beyond the cupboard. The only visible sign says I love ketchup. That doesn't seem to fit the bloodline. Maybe they like the colour red? I suddenly want to eat coleslaw. And I don't know why. Paul Heyman waiting for Roman to summon him. Good to hear, man. Real good to hear. Tuesday's not long away. Not long away at all. Happy birthday for then if I don't see you until. Bailey says everyone is serious except Sammy, of course. Sammy's not really capable of being serious, and I like that. Roman with a cheap pop. As always, hidden his catchphrase. Do you remember the days before he had the catchphrase? I don't anymore. Roman is only the tribal chief for me nowadays. Right. So Logan Paul's already on his way. This could go a lot of ways. Heavy boos. That's definitely one of them. This could go a lot of different ways. Sean says, think we'll get a segment between DX and the Bloodline on Raw. Why not? Absolutely, why not? If you're going to do it, do it. I mean, the Bloodline are right there. I find it more likely it'll be between DX and Judgment Day, but we'll see how it goes. Connor says, I'll always remember suffering Succotash. Yep. That was this same guy. I mean, I get it if you don't believe it, but that was this same guy. Simon says Bailey was out promoting Mania 40 today at the Philadelphia Eagles NFL team ground where the PLE pay-per-view is at. Bailey is becoming one of those where she very much represents the company, and Triple H is thrilled to have her in that position. Logan Paul teasing taking his time, just get in the ring. He's not getting in the ring. He's absolutely not getting in the ring. Does he have backup? He's looking to the ramp like he has backup. Megan says, just what I need after a crappy mental health day. Logan Paul on my TV screen. Yep, he's going to fix everything, Megan. You've got Roman. You'll have LA Knight, kind of. There's options. Roman Reigns quite clearly marking his territory. He might as well just basically cock his leg and piss all over Logan Paul at this point. Hey, traffic. It's going very good, mate. Going very good. I hope you're well too. Connor says, any reasons Trips opened SmackDown? Because the season premiere, he's essentially announcing that this is his show from here on. It's been his show for a while, but he's now officially putting his stamp on it. A very strong Logan sucks chant. He's just embracing it. He's just embracing it. Which is the right way to do it. Go on, Roman. Very accurate from Roman. We just went meta. They did used to chant Roman sucks. They did. Megan says, if LA Knight shows up tonight, that might cheer me up. He's on the way. He's just... like Thea Mahan, he's coming. Sean says, would Logan win if he faced Roman in a boxing match? No. Traffic says, oh crap, Triple H open. Did I miss anything important? No. It was standard Triple H. It lasted less than a minute and it was basically just self-congratulatory. That's what Triple H does. Brief and all about you. Title of his sex tape. Sean says, I thought everyone was saying Roman sucks. No, Logan sucks. But, as Roman quite rightly said, very close. Connor, Megan has posted the link, but that is on the Twitch side. So let me just grab it and post it across. Boo, Jake Paul. Woo, boo. So here you go. Just posting the link onto the YouTube side. Mr. T and Cyndi Lauper. So yeah, celebrity. Very standard. Simon says, I don't know when Liv is on. I usually only watch SmackDown for her. Draw segment probably. Because Ronda. Hector says, Bray always had his hand in his creative one way or another. I don't know what's different now, whether it was Vince holding him back or Triple H finding the happy medium. Whatever this case may be, this whole White Rabbit stuff plays so well. Maybe some of Bray's best work, if this is him. If it isn't him, is it still some of whoever it is best work? Traffic says, if I'm not mistaken, that would be his first on-screen appearance, not counting the YouTube press conference since he took over creative then. Yes, I do believe that to be the case. Of course, he's no longer the sole top voice of creative, but he's made good hires. As I said way back when, he will be putting his own people involved. Calling Logan Paul a Kardashian, then saying gets to be smashed. Juxtaposition is telling there. Sean says, funny everyone was cheering Logan against Miz, but now booing him against Roman. Yeah. I think they booed him the whole time. It's just Miz was more booable. Pussification. Paul Heyman's on a mission. Jordan Peterson would not have the balls to do that. Logan Paul just looks baffled. He's going after the Republican darlings. Connor says, it says, let me in. Are we sure it's not Bray? Yeah. Evening, Si. How you doing, mate? Hector says, yes, Tom. Still great work, because Raw and SmackDown continue to be must-watch because of it. And I think that's the most telling thing. I absolutely agree with you there. What Paul Heyman is saying is that he's seen Logan Paul's balls and he liked it. He's going after the whole manosphere, and I love him for it. So Paul Heyman is basically saying, I've seen Logan Paul's balls, and I like them. He keeps referencing Jake. I can't help but feel that that's telling. Logan Paul hasn't had anything to say for a while. Traffic says nobody is better than Heyman on the mic, although MJF is fast approaching. Justin believes Raw is so much better than SmackDown. Don't entirely agree with you there. SmackDown's been absolutely nailing it recently. I know a lot of people see Logan Paul and immediately decide to switch off, but it's still a great show. You'll just have to wait, Connor. You'll just have to wait. Oh, that was a nice line. Even Logan Paul's got to respect that. That was dynamite. Patrick says, hi Tom. Good evening. Good evening yourself, Patrick. Welcome, sir. Sami Zayn actually lost his shit at that line. This is the go-home show for Extreme Rules, in case nobody realised. Megan says, I'm surprised Heyman doesn't feature more on comedy roasts. He'd make a fortune. He would. He should absolutely get more involved in that. Sean says, everyone's saying The Rock is going to be on Raw this week because he'll be in Brooklyn for a premiere for Black Adam. They're setting themselves up for a disappointment. Yep. That's how it goes. People hype themselves up and then lose their shit when they're proven wrong. Justin says, I have no issue with Logan Paul and actually think he's good. He is doing very well. And the thing is, Roman just threw him a hell of a bone. A hell of a bone. He's using the what chant? What are you doing here, Logan? Right, so they're playing at the Logan Paul sewing division. That's not going to work. Jay fell in line a long time ago. But Jay could be tribal chief. Why has no one mentioned it? Why has no one mentioned it? Jay could be tribal chief. I can be tribal chief if I want to be tribal chief. Roman's going to smash you. You know this. I'm seeing double is a bad line. That's just derogatory. Logan Paul is ignoring Roman Reigns. Ignore Roman Reigns at your peril. You know this. Jay has fallen back into line. Nobody says Uso being chanted, not Usos. The facial expressions. Oh. Jay is being brought to heel right now. Horsey says, not all will agree, but the White Rabbit's been teased as Bray with all hints linked to Bray in some way, so setting themselves for a major fall for me. Indeed. Sami Zayn just slips in between the two men to fix the problem. He can't actually get going because the crowd are chanting his name. Bailey says Paul Heyman is an absolute Hall of Famer. Hopefully he'll be recognised in 2024. I get the feeling he's going to keep going for a few more years and be recognised at the absolute top of the game. Also, he says Sami Zayn is amazing at the minute in this role. He is. He's perfect for this job. Even Jey Uso is agreeing with him. Well, if Logan Paul's going to have a chance of winning, Sami Zayn needs to be taken out. Sami needs to be taken out. Also says, Tom, do you think Vince goes into Hall of Fame in next year or two? Yeah, probably. They all want to put a exclamation mark at the end of it. They want to make it clear that Vince is not coming back. Hall of Fame induction would be a way of doing that. Nicely played by Logan Paul. Kieran says, Jay 100% is the one to destroy the bloodline. I agree. You can do better than that. You're Sami Zayn. Don't double down when it doesn't work. Even Roman's laughing at you. He's enjoying the moment. Billy says sometimes they wait too long to add to the Hall of Fame. Seeing Bobby Heenan honoured with his limited speaking ability at the time was sad. I get what you're saying. It is horsey. I know, right? You wouldn't believe it, would you? I said that a moment ago. Okay, you got the crowd chanting. That's the important thing. And BT Sports crashed. Wonderful. But at least I know we're about to go into a commercial break anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's get this going again. Easy to forget that this is the Extreme Rules Go Home SmackDown. They're all about that crown jewel. All about them crowns. About them crowns. Sean says, who would induct Vince, Shane and Stephanie? Probably The Undertaker. Maybe Steve Austin. It'll be a wrestler. I'd love if it was Trish Stratus. That'd be funny. Megan says, I went a little long for my liking. I agree with that. Sami could have been a bit more concise. I feel the issue really was Paul Heyman taking up quite a lot of time. It was good, but it was long. Traffic says, there's so many ways they can go with the Sami and Jay storyline. I have legit 0% idea where they're actually headed. I still think it's possible, and I think they've hinted it there, that the actual story is Jay Roman. And Jey Uso becomes the tribal chief, sending Roman packing for a few months before Roman eventually comes back to try and reclaim his titles. But maybe Jay doesn't have them at that point. Who knows? Hector says, say what you will about Logan Paul, but he could have easily come to WWE, taken an easy paycheck, half-arsed it, but he's taken this serious, and for that I give him all the props in the world. Admittedly, his character is mostly, I laugh at everything happening right now. Everything is funny to me. But I get what you're saying, and I agree. He's trying to work the crowd. He's trying to work with Roman and with Paul Heyman. He's trying to keep up with some of the best in the business. And that, I feel, is an unfair yardstick to put him against. If he's in against The Miz, people will mostly give him the benefit of the doubt in ring. But on the microphone, no chance. He's not actually feuded with anyone worse than him on the mic. Put him against someone like Otis. Otis is not the greatest on the mic. We know this. Put Logan Paul in there, he'll dance rings around him. He will dance rings around him. So, when he's against Roman, Paul Heyman, The Miz, not the fairest way of doing things. Put him against a Rey Mysterio, as he has been previous. He'll keep up. He'll fight his corner. There's room to grow. We just essentially have to wait for the right moment. The right moment, I feel, is not too far away, but we're not there yet. Unfortunately, the right moment will probably come with Jake Paul as well. There's a reason they keep name-dropping him. After all, did I not mention on Monday that that's the plan? Jermaine says, hey Tom, I'm calling it now. Everybody keeps talking about Sammy being the one to turn on the bloodline. I think it's Jay So, and tonight was the biggest clue. Well, to be fair, Jermaine, you say you called it. I've been saying that for a while, mate. Bailey says, I could even see the briefcase figuring into this eventual bloodline breakup. At the moment, almost everyone in this chat has mentioned what happens after Austin Theory loses the briefcase. Still not likely at this point in time, but everyone seems to have an idea for it. Also says, anyone else feel weird there's a World Cup in 6 weeks? It's in 6 weeks? Oh, it is, isn't it? Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Moxley says, I've always had a feeling that Jay would dethrone Roman Reigns. So is Nick from Nick and Tom's Intercontinental Adventure. I could still very much see it happening. In fact, I see it happening more now than I did before Sammy. I can see Roman siding with Sami Zayn. Roman likes Sammy. I still think there's scope for it. Give him a Hell in a Cell I Quit match and turn the bloodline on Roman. It'll work. It'll work. Just got to get the tag titles off him first. They are starting the hype for Gunter versus Sheamus, which will of course be our main event tonight. They have got Imperium and Fight Night visible, which is always a good sign. Solo Sikoa is in the ring. Looks like he's going to be in action. Doesn't look like he's going to be against Logan Paul though. Who have we got? Madcap? Ricochet. It was close. Kieran says, this is the first time I've never been excited for an international tournament. Even the Euros I was more excited for. Well, a lot of people died in Qatar to bring it. Third in the board in World Cup odds. They should not be. Jermaine says, you're right, Tom, because it will bring Jey Uso's storyline full circle. You've got to remember, Roman is booking a lot of his own stuff right now. A lot of his own stuff. There is a third person at the announce table, but I think it's just security. I see a CM Punk shirt behind Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. Awkward. But yeah, I could definitely see that going full circle. It makes sense. And it's something Roman personally would want. He's shown previously that he's interested in it. There is something on my wall, isn't it? That is a spider. You can hang out, you're only small. I don't mind you. I'm not like afraid of you. You can just hang out there, but like if you can stay out of camera shot, it's just awkward. Just looks a bit weird. Just stay there for a bit. We're all cool. Patrick says, did Ricochet get a new theme? It was a while ago, wasn't it? Like he lost his really good one a while back. Hector says, okay Tom, here's a good one. Where does Paul Heyman rank among all-time wrestling managers? For me, he's second only behind Paul Bearer. For me, he's first. I have a lot of respect for Paul Bearer, but ultimately, his entire job was to hold an urn up and say, yes! Paul Heyman's got a few more strings to his bow. First time I've ever seen Ricochet screw up a tope suicida, but he managed to recover it. He got his ankles caught on the ropes. I think I'm actually wrong, and he didn't botch it at all. But he's hitting all his offense early, which is usually a bad sign. Jermaine says it looks like Solo's out here by himself. They are trying to establish him because of the, the street fighter cred and all that. They are trying to establish him as a solo fighter who can win fights on his own. So far, he's not been doing that, but tonight seems like the perfect opportunity to get him back on track and give him a win. It's still not feeling like an Extreme Rules go-home show. Neither of these men will feature at Extreme Rules. So maybe put some focus elsewhere. But I suppose that's why our main event is, of course, going to be Gunter, Sheamus, and BT Sport's gone again, second time. It's okay, we're nearly half an hour through. I've just realised that we're nearly a quarter of the way through the show, and we've only just started our first match. That was a very long opening segment. That was a good old-fashioned 20-minute openers. The Vince McMahon days. Traffic says feels more like a throwaway show rather than go home. So far, yes, we do have to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that there is still plenty of time for things to change. We do have to give them that benefit of the doubt. I'm sure there'll be something big for Ronda versus Liv. You still up there? Nope, you're gone. I'm concerned. If I step on you, it's your own fault. I just want to be clear for that. It's your own fault if I step on you. You understand that, right? I hope you can hear me. My spider's gone. Bailey says top managers Bobby Heenan, Paul Heyman, Jim Cornette, Freddie Blassie. Bobby Heenan's a very good shout. Jim Cornette had his moments, and I don't really have anything that I can say about Freddie Blassie. Wouldn't know. But yeah, we had to talk about Jim Cornette earlier. It was not a good one. Horsey says, is this Triple H giving others TV time and allowing Extreme Rules to sell itself, basically? In many ways, yes, but now still not the time. It is the Extreme Rules go-home show. You have to at least make it focused on Extreme Rules. Like, it's not difficult to work that out. It's the basics. If this is the only Bloodline match, then we're okay, but it does mean that a quarter of the show has gone to Bloodline and they're not featuring at all at the pay-per-view. Unless, of course, Solo Sikoa is a White Rabbit. Oh, Sami Zayn's a White Rabbit. Sami Zayn is a White Rabbit? Kieran says Paul Heyman doesn't class himself as a manager, right? Yeah, but that doesn't mean he isn't one. Megan says they've even mentioned that it's tomorrow night yet. They have the sign up at the back saying Extreme Rules tomorrow night. I haven't seen further references. I'm very interested to see if a spider now crawls across my forehead at some point. That'd be creepy. Jermaine says, you're right, Tom. Almost forgot it was supposed to be a go-home show for Extreme Rules thanks to the opening of the show. Connor says, I think Zed Colton never got the respect he deserved. There was a reason for that. Justin said, have you seen the QR code video? Nope, haven't had a chance. I am currently live streaming. Horsey says, sadly, Crown Jewel is more important to the company money-wise, I expect. Yeah, there's no question about that. Megan says Sami Zayn is a Gwildor was a wrestler, not the White Rabbit. Hector says Tom with Wade Barrett now on main roster commentary. Do you think there's any chance whatsoever he gets physical with someone at any point or no? Yeah, there's always a chance. Forever is a very long time. You guys ask really open-ended questions sometimes. It makes it very difficult to answer because maybe is the only answer I can possibly give there. We're in our second commercial break. I genuinely lost this spider. It's somewhere. Okay, Justin, is that someone Bray Wyatt? Megan says, you don't want an open-ending question. Okay, then cake or death. You are speaking to someone who at all times has emergency cake in his fridge. Currently I have a raspberry cheesecake that's been eaten by I've eaten a third of it. And the rest of it is waiting for the next emergency. There hasn't been a lot of emergencies recently, so it tends to just be cake. But I'm a cake or die man, and I choose cake. Traffic says I would mark out so hard if Wade Barrett started popping up on stage one night with some bad news. I think that's certainly a possibility. Just popping up every now and then to a recap. Horsey says, imagine Bray sitting back watching all these White Rabbit hints and thinking they're teasing me and I know nothing. Well, I'm sure if it was him, they wouldn't be teasing that. He would know something. I think it's also worth pointing out, everyone's talking about the guy who's just come in, who was previously pitched a Fiend movie. But he wasn't in when they started this storyline. That said, if this was the trial, he has passed with flying colours. Kieran says, I just saw someone on Twitter say Sammy in the Bloodline is like Owen in the Nation of Domination. Well, Owen was in the Nation of Domination. He was when I started anyway. Moxley says, I feel like the White Rabbit is Tom Colohue. And Justin said it's a pig from the funhouse in the video. So, Huskus. Of course, it's worth pointing out that if it is Bray Wyatt, somebody did call that Bray Wyatt had signed. I wonder who that was. Who is the one who reported that Bray Wyatt had signed? Who's that guy? Ricochet and Solo Sikoa still going. Looks like they're going to take up a third of the show at this rate, but we are still going. Just quickly, while I've got a moment, we currently have 18 viewers on the YouTube side and only the 8 likes. Please consider hitting that thumbs up button. It'll really help us grow, and I will really very much appreciate it. Bailey said if the White Rabbit really was Tom Colohue, the Dirt Sheets would lose their minds. Yeah. Back in the day, I did think about training to become a wrestler just for the sake of actually popping up in WWE one day and saying, fuck you guys, to a whole load of Dirt Sheet writers. Then I just got on with the rest of my life instead. I was tempted to be petty, just didn't. Connor says, whoever called that must be a legend. Well, if he's back, of course. If he's not, well then, that would be inaccurate. And certainly, that person would not report inaccurate news. Also says, is it possible that they've changed White Rabbit to Bray now and were cautious to begin in case he didn't sign? Like you said a couple of weeks back, covering both scenarios. Yep, still very much possible that they've leaned into it since. But of course, they're still teasing a lot of different people as well. It's very DDP. Sean says, apparently Alexa was injured on Raw during her match with Io. She was. She hurt her finger. Ricochet on the top rope. Shooting star. Solo caught him and into a Uranagi. And that will be that. Ricochet down. Moxie says tomorrow will be a car crash. I can't wait for Extreme Rules. Here's the thing. I've seen the YouTube ads for Extreme Rules and I love them. Paul Heyman says, Extreme Rules, we'll let the Carnage do the talking. And then that's it. You know what? I need to see this Carnage. That's a good way to sell it to me. I may be being a basic bitch here, but I'm a basic bitch everyone can get behind. That is a hell of an office for Roman. But once again, he's barely watching TV. But Sammy's enthusiastic. He's not no wing. Jay's still not happy. Still not happy. Yes, Horsey, it's my BT. My BT is crap. Horsey says that wall hurts my eyes. I get you. Right. KJ, how you doing, mate? How you doing? Will says, with Kenny and the Bucks feeling upset with Tony, can you see it might have an effect on them re-signing when their deals are up, with them not trusting Tony? Yeah, it will definitely have an effect. It will definitely make people ask questions, and that's absolutely fair. Welcome, Will. How you doing, mate? Roman is laying into Jay and siding with Sammy. Little hand. Sammy's just like, what do I say it? Do I not? Kieran says, Cora Jade has asked Damage Control for a favour on Twitter. Wonder if that has anything to do with War Games and Cole and Roxanne joining each team. I don't know. We'll certainly rule out a lot of options. It's like chasing kids just sat on the side. Hit row on screen. One of them very, very colourful, the others not so much. Is B-Fab going to wrestle Zelina Vega? Horsey says, was it me? Or was that Tony and Ariel interview weird and felt awkward? It's... Once you get used to Tony Khan, he's an eclectic guy. And once you get used to him, it's fine, but it can be awkward at times. Traffic says, did Roman just give Sami power over Jay? Yes, he did. In fact, if anything, he accidentally promoted him. Connor says, do you think Andrade will get his release from his contract? Not at this point in time, no. The issue, I discussed this a little bit earlier, but I'll reiterate, because obviously I know you weren't there, Connor. When it comes to the current situation with AEW and releases, Tony Khan is basically terrified that the second he says yes to one, there will be a line going out of the arena direct to his office saying we want out as well. Also, there are some issues right now with a potential TV deal, because if they're not able to keep people, the TV executives are worried they will not be able to keep ratings and they'll drop off the map and not be worth the money anymore. So there's a lot going on this one. This is also true of Malachi and of course FTR, but Tony Khan has spoken with FTR and does believe that he can give them what they want. Justin says, as long as Bliss isn't involved with him, I'll be cool with his return. Alexa Bliss seems to be sort of sat to the side right now, waiting for something to happen. So, I can't promise anything. So the Bloodline have indeed dominated the first third of SmackDown. I'm confident the final third will belong to Imperium versus Fight Night, which means this central third will need to cover Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross, and Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan. Honestly, that doesn't sound like a bad show, gotta be honest. Doesn't sound like a bad show at all. Where has this spider gone? It's stalking me. I don't want to fall asleep. Obviously, I don't fall asleep in here. This is my office, but still. Megan says, my guess, hope is a Hit Row versus Legado del Fantasma, unless it's already been confirmed, in which case, yay. Who would win that match? I think it's too early for Hit Row to start taking big losses, but that would have to be a big loss, surely. Traffic says, FTR got a well-deserved pop on Dynamite. They're just so over right now. They are. They got a huge pop in London several times. Sean says, why not just grant a release instead of letting talent be unhappy? I did just cover those reasons, Sean. Traffic says, and that's with their horrible booking. Well, they're over because they put on great matches, and having been in attendance for 2 great matches featuring FTR, Also says, the purple light and Bliss seem to point to revenge for me, sadly. I'd rather it was a fresh direction. Bliss seemed old Bliss Monday when she got angry. Well, what if the Fiend Bray Wyatt did return and recruited Nikki Cross? Nikki Cross would then be the agent of destruction, losing her mind when forced to get revenge for Bray on Alexa Bliss. There's always ways to do it. Moxley says, I just want to get Samoa Joe versus Gunter. The day is coming. Obviously, as mentioned, I can't promise anything, but guys, the day is coming. Megan says, not sure as regards Hit Row versus Legado. I doubt a DQ finish would work in this instance. I agree, though it could just be a beatdown and then promise a match later on. Hector says, alright Tom, if and only if Bray returns tomorrow, how would you go about his return so it doesn't overshadow something or come off as cheesy? I would have the lights go out before the main event, and when the lights come back on, I would just have the Fiend standing in the ring. Then I'd have the lights go out, and when the lights come back on, well, time for the main event. That's all I'd do. I would confirm it and then ignore it. Completely ignore it. That's all I'd do. Megan says, give me chaotic Nikki again. Day's coming. I say that a lot nowadays. Triple H has changed things. Connor says, sounds like Tony needs to get AEW under control, because if he's worried about a long line of people wanting out, just make a company good enough people don't want to leave. Agreed. Horsey says, turnabout is fair play, I guess, with Bliss turning on Cross. The Usos have run into the New Day backstage, though there is also a Sammy. Sammy has been shushed. Sean says, which do you all think was a better main event, Alexa versus Bayley or Alexa versus Io? Personally, I'm an Alexa versus Bayley person. I like the match with Io, but I do feel the injury and just a greater chemistry and experience with Bayley worked for me. Okay, so the Bloodline will feature in another match. Sami Zayn has called out the New Day. Great. So the Bloodline are really dominating this whole show. Justin says, I'd rather Nikki be with Bray 100%, keep Bliss away from that dark BS. But she likes it though. It makes her happy. So that's the question we have to ask. Moxley says, Karrion Kross versus Gunter. Oof. Lots of good options. Bailey says, big question, so I'll toss it out there. Given its finances, where does AEW stand a year from today? Well, at the moment, it is bleeding money. So if the game doesn't hit like they're hoping, or if they don't get a massively improved TV deal, which doesn't seem to be on the cards, bleeding money is the best thing I can say. Megan says, odds on Extreme Rules closing on a stare-down shot of Lesnar and Cormier? Low. Low at this point in time. Kieran says EO is really good, but feel like she's been off since returning. Disagree. I think she's just adapting to the main roster style. It is a change. I know that it's becoming more Triple H's style, but it's not there yet. Also just says, go home, show my ass. KJ says, who do we think New Day picks up for the 6-man? Logically, I think it might be Drew. Well, someone is getting their wish. Sorry, did you say 3 guys in masks? I think most people know who they are. So it is just a beatdown. Megan says, screw it, give me New Day and LA Knight versus Sammy and Usos. Also said, did Wood just look into the camera and smile then? That is the Woods thing. KJ quite rightly saying, Madcap seems ideal. Oh look, it's Zelina Vega. Over Hurricane Rana. Well, I believe the rumours were true. Zelina Vega has taken over as the mouthpiece of Legado del Fantasma. Very similar to an old role that she had, and probably a very good selling point for someone like Aleister Black. After all, imagine Aleister Black in this faction. Legado are just slightly off pace at the moment. They just not quite got their rhythm right. We all know who you are. We all know who you are. Can I just say, they are very well dressed. Kieran says she was really good as a mouthpiece. She absolutely was. No new name. Oh, they're claiming SmackDown. Bloodline are going to have something to say about that. Zelina Vega has always been a fantastic manager and mouthpiece. Taking on Legado is absolutely perfect for her. She'll nail it. She absolutely will. In fact, oh look, a white rabbit. X marks the spot. Extreme Rules marks the spot. And that is an echo of the Fiend being burned. They've confirmed tomorrow night. Something be going on tomorrow, guys. The WWE have officially confirmed it now, though of course that doesn't mean all that much. WWE infamously changed their mind a lot. Sai says, I'd like Nikki Cross to team for brother Karrion. Maybe put her up against Big E and his cousin Shots. I'll get my coat. Sean says, Zelina on SmackDown. Yep, her team with Carmella is over. Yep, completely. Megan says, pick up this feud where it left off in NXT. That seems like it's exactly what they're going to do. And honestly, it's not a bad way to do it. Bailey says, no more new names for the main roster. Indeed, they kept their own names. KJ says, Legado was so over as faces, but they work as heels. It's a good way to sort of reintroduce them to the crowd. The main roster won't know them all that well, so it works for me. KJ says, it's a great pairing. A big win for whoever made this call. Horsey says, debut or breadcrumbs. At this point, I'd say bread. I realise how ridiculous a thing I just said, but bread. Moxley says, these guys are White Rabbit. They are not. Traffic says, can't wait for Extreme Rules to tell us to watch Raw on Monday. I mean, it's fair. It's fair. Jermaine said, well, it said it. The White Rabbit will be shown tomorrow night at Extreme Rules. Or maybe someone will be set on fire again at Extreme Rules. So it says, biggest win for me, Zelina lost her accent. That was a while back, mate. I swear it was a while back. Whatever's next will be our draw segment. So it better be good. Justin says, wonder if Bray will be on Raw or SmackDown. If he does come back, he's got to be on SmackDown, surely. They have too many big names on Raw already and no champion. Although no championship is probably a good thing for Bray. I could definitely see a Fiend coming after a Seth Rollins again. Moxley says, I think it's Bray, to be honest. Who do you think it is, Tom? And when do you think they will be shown? I cannot even begin to speculate. I've speculated for a while, but I cannot even begin to speculate. We'll find out, I'm sure. Sean says, Bray versus Lashley. I mean, that would be fun, but I don't want to put Lashley in that situation. He'd not recover from that very easily. That's the issue you've got. If the Fiend's gonna be the Fiend, what we're going to get is a whole lot of people getting buried because the Fiend buried people. Like, I know people use the word buried a lot and it's not always an accurate use of the term. The Fiend buried people. We can't pretend otherwise. That is what happened. Then Randy Orton buried the Fiend. Xia Li is in action against Zelina. That doesn't work, they're both heels. Are they just teaming Sonya with everyone? So it's Sonya and Xia Li versus Shotzi and Raquel? Get a damage control running? It is Shotzi and Raquel coming down the tank. I could definitely see a damage control running. Bailey then would of course be... Oh, there we go. Bailey, of course, would then be the draw in question. Traffic says, if we're being honest, the Fiend was burying the wrestling business, no sold too many things. That was the entire character. Moxley says, Bray vs. Drew, we got it in 2019. Did we? I have no recollection of that at all, which shows the impact it had. Megan says, SRS has just announced that Mox has signed a 5-year extension of AEW and will be expanding his role to become a mentor and coach. Well, there we go then. We were waiting on news about it. I did say it was getting damn close. Contract did expire. It looks like it has now formally been renewed. We'll try and find out how much that's worth because, as you guys know, AEW might not be able to afford the $6 million that he cost him for his previous deal. Hector says, I was always worried about Santos Escobar's eventual main event debut. It's not main event. Under Vince's eye because it's only right to be wary considering the past call-ups. But in Triple H, I think not only will Santos get shown how good he is, but also Legado as a whole, and Zelina is the cherry on top. Stuart says Raquel still got that back. That's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. Horsey says Fiend under Triple H would be exciting with creative control in part. Just forget the Vince Fiend. I can't forget the Vince Fiend. Okay? I know you're saying it's going to be different, but if it's the Fiend, it's not going to be different. It's not. Patrick says, do we just get another White Rabbit tease tomorrow? Probably. We can't rule it out. Thank you, Megan. Moxie says, we got Drew versus the Fiend in a steel cage at a house show. Well, I haven't seen that. Justin says, Strowman and Bliss was never the same after messing with the Fiend. Rollins' gimmick at the time died. Yep. Kieran says, the biggest surprise about SRS tweet is he has an edit tweet button. First time I've seen that. Yep, some people get all the luck. Moxley says, when The Fiend returns, I hope and pray that he doesn't bring back the red light. Yeah, me too. That wasn't even a Bray Wyatt choice. Wyatt didn't want it. Rollins didn't want it. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted it. Sean, that's a big question. A bigger question than you might expect. Horsey says maybe a brand new character, not even Fiend, just a thought. Certainly a possibility if Bray Wyatt returns. Okay, Raquel has just tagged in. This match is not going to last long. I don't think this is going to be our draw segment. Raquel Rodriguez running through Sonya Deville and Xia Li. Sonya Deville is not in a prominent spot at the moment. Megan says the red light was fine for an entrance, but having it during the match, nope. Yeah, he's not Glacier, you know. Basic stuff. That was an awkward elbow drop. That was an awkward elbow drop. I'd like to check on Sonya. That, again, awkward. Don't pin Sonya. Don't pin Sonya. They're pinning Sonya. Boo. Well, that match happened. Justin says, I much prefer Bray from 2014-2018. I liked Cult Leader Bray. The Era of Wyatt is a t-shirt that I have of his, and I stick with that. Sai says, Rollins and Riddle is easily out in front in Thomas Poll for the match we're most looking forward to. Under the community tab on YouTube, almost half the vote. I have been keeping track of that, and I've honestly really enjoyed the community tab. It's getting results for me, and I'm just really enjoying hearing what people are thinking. Like, we've had, what, 3 image polls so far? And you get quite a range of different votes and options. I really think it's a good feature, and I'm confident it's popping up for a lot of people. So, yeah, you get like 200 votes, which, considering that's, what, an eighth of my audience, it's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I also know it can pop up to people who aren't regulars. So people who haven't subscribed but have watched a video in the past might still get that popping up. So that means they may end up going back, because it will, if they vote, it'll encourage them to see more videos and so on and so forth. It's all very good stuff. Horsey says, as Bruce says, popcorn match. Bailey says, Raquel has not made a smooth upgrade to the main roster. She hasn't really given much of a chance to. I mean, she did okay with Ronda. That was all right. But then what followed was a succession of 2-minute matches under Triple H. Jermaine says, poor Sonya Deville and Xia Li treated as jobbers. That is really not right. Well, someone's got to be at the bottom rung of the ladder. Like, you know this, right? Someone's got to lose in order for someone else to win. Someone's got to actually be there. The only thing that really works. Horsey says, in a go-home show, we'll get 20 to 30 minutes of Extreme Rules build of a 2-hour show. Sounds like Vince McMahon, doesn't it? Hector says, for argument's sake, let's say The Fiend does come back. What's one superstar would you like Triple H to have a do-over and have people forget how they were presented under Vince? Samoa Joe. No question whatsoever, Samoa Joe. I mean, he's already doing it with Cross. Kieran says, Sonya would be perfect for Judgment Day. Her and Rhea could go for the tag titles at some point. I don't think that's a bad shout at all. I like that as a concept. And I think Sonya just... she's wrestling again. She's getting some focus, but... you don't have a talker as good as Sonya Deville and just not let her talk. Sean says Sonya needs her real tag team partner back, Mandy Rose. Doesn't look like it's going to be happening. Justin says Charlotte returns tomorrow. Probably not, no. As you think Charlotte's a White Rabbit. She goes from Queen to White Rabbit. I mean, it's an evolution of sorts. Traffic says at least Sonya's had a lot more time on the mic than most of the women. Very true. Very true. She's had a lot of additional opportunities. And she's flown. Like, she's absolutely soared with those opportunities. So, you can rely on that. Sean says, would WWE clear Joe, though, is a question, Tom. Well, apparently NXT did. We're under Triple H now. The rules are different. The game has changed. Son of H. Well, there we go. It's official. I've just been presented, not preserved. I've just been presented with a commercial for the World Cup. It had Qatar written all over it. Infuriating. Eddie says, did you see Omega in the Rumble? No. He's under contract elsewhere, so no. Kieran says, it's crazy to think Triple H retired at Mania, lost NXT, and then got given creative of WWE. True. Very true. Busy, busy time. Hector says, Tom, would you say it's all about the game and how you play it? You know what? I would. I would say that. Because it's true. It is all about the game and how you play it. So this has to be either Drew or Ronda. It's Ronda. I just saw a sign that says I outdrunk Andre. You didn't. Okay, so is it just a video package? Because that'd be frustrating. Billy says, was it ever determined how big a bribe Qatar paid for the World Cup? We didn't get a final number. Neddy says, let him in tomorrow. No, Kenny Omega is under contract elsewhere, mate. I'll say it again. Kenny Omega is not going to be in the Rumble. He's under contract elsewhere. You know, Connor, I've heard that. I can't remember where I've heard that, but I've heard it. And it's very accurate. We're getting a breakdown of everything that's happened with the SmackDown Women's Championship, but what we're seeing it from is the perspective of Ronda Rousey. Ronda's the hero here. Okay, but seriously, Liv Morgan is the heel in this, right? Even the way she's speaking suggests heel. Can we put some focus onto Liv here? They just forgotten she exists. Wow. It's almost cruel. Okay, here we go. Liv Morgan's turn. Jermaine says, what if the White Rabbit is not who we think it is and it's actually Charlotte Flair? We'll find out tomorrow, but just throwing it out there. We spoke about that as a concept earlier, in which case, you know, the booze will be perfect. It'll be exactly what they're looking for. We also discussed Baron Corbin. Same reasons. Sean says, if Liv makes it to Monday, she'll be champion for 100 days. That's not bad for your first time. When it comes to a first championship reign, typically, the WWE will give you a brief one. Just to see how you land with it. To try and get you a little more over. I think this is the right time. I think she'll come back to it, but I think this is the right time. Hector says, I know it wouldn't have happened. It would have never happened. But I would have preferred either Ken Shamrock as a special referee for the fight pit, plus I always loved his theme. Never would have happened. They have actually gotten quite the coup in order to get Cormier. Hell of a coup. After all, what did I say about celebrities? Oh, Steve Blackman. KJ says, wouldn't it have been a good idea to keep Lopez in LDF so her and Zelina could have added some tag team depth? The WWE clearly do not believe that Lopez is ready for the main roster. She has been held back for that purpose. Also says, Corey Graves and voiceover on video package is weird now on Raw mainly, and I know pay-per-view. Sorry, PLE. Kieran says that's more than Sasha Banks' 5 reigns put together. Yep. But hey, they're trying to push Liv. That's how you do it. Ghost, welcome. Says pretty much no faith in Liv retaining unless we see shenanigans that lead to a decisive heel turn. I still believe there'll be heel turn coming. But hey, anything goes. Maybe Shayna ends up backing up Liv Morgan. And we end up with them as a team. Jermaine says, I have a feeling that one of the women's matches at Extreme Rules, somebody is going to have outside interference, cost them to lose the title. Which one will it be and who would interfere? They all could be involved in this. All of them. Karrion Kross on his way down to the ring. We're getting the full entrance. So this definitely is our draw segments. It's not often you get a hype package as a draw segment, but we are where we are. Traffic says at least Charlotte will be a big enough star to live up to all the effort they've been putting into the White Rabbit. Maybe it'll be Gable Steveson. Maybe Steveson will be the White Rabbit. Who can tell? Do we ever take a moment and just respect the fact that this is probably the most attractive couple in wrestling, just like as a unit? And they know it. Like, they use it. It's two very attractive people. They are hyping up the Extreme Rules strap match. Briefly, we had colour. Scarlett looked at the camera. She'll have gone told off by Vince for that if he was still here. It's not quite the full entrance, but it's as near as they're going to get without some dry ice. Interested to see if Scarlett crawls through his legs as per. She's lining for it. She's going for it. She had to sort of dress first, and I respect that. Oh, hey, Drew. So Karrion Kross is getting beat down again. What the hell? Kieran is saying Shayna Baszler has been quiet for a while. She has. And I'm suspicious of that. Stuart says, favourite entrance now. Horsey shouts, Karrion! Horsey says, Kross better now he is bulked up. Oh, he's already pretty bulky, let's be fair, mate. Connor says, White Rabbit is clearly Elektra Lopez. That's why she's not with LDF. Yep, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Kieran says, Scarlett is brilliant. Horsey says, give up with this. They're destroying Kross. They are. Kross is once again laid out on the floor while security are trying to take out Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre naturally will just beat the hell out of all of them. But I'm sure Kross will be somehow involved as well. Ghost says, also, Sasha Banks' SmackDown Women's Championship reign lasted 167 days. I don't see Liv's reign lasting that long if she manages to retain tomorrow. Agreed. Kieran says, I hope Karrion getting beat all the time means Kross wins at Extreme Rules. It would need to be a squash in order to make up for this. Like, it would need to be an actual squash. Sean says White Rabbit is Randy Orton. Well, no one's been talking about that. It's not a bad shout. Horsey said this is Triple H's first mistake for me the way this has been booked. Hector says people don't realise how big Scarlett is to Karrion's entrance and overall presentation. Just felt like a ghost to himself under Vince. And KJ says, is it possible a White Rabbit is an actual White Rabbit? Don't even say that. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. If that's exactly what happened. The lights went out. The lights came back on. There is a White Rabbit in the ring. Lights are out. It's gone. I would love that. Way too much. Okay, Kross, do something. There we go. Kross is finally getting some offense in. Well, it took 2 months. But Karrion Kross is finally getting some offense in. Okay, let's have a read of this statement from AEW. AEW CEO, GM and Head of Creative Tony Khan announced that AEW World Champion Jon Moxley has signed a 5-year contract extension that ensures that one of professional wrestling's top stars will remain in All Elite Wrestling through 2027 while expanding his responsibilities to include mentoring and coaching talent. Moving forward, Moxley will work exclusively for AEW and its international partners, including New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he's a 2-time IWGP United States heavyweight champion. So he's actually going to be working for less companies. That's an interesting one. So we've had 5 minutes of Drew McIntyre being whipped, but it took security to distract him to make it happen. Megan, don't even say that either. The White Rabbit is not Frank the Clown. No. Ed says there's a White Rabbit in the building. I have friends saying multiple White Rabbits are wandering in the crowd. Could people just bring their rabbits? Could people just bring their pet rabbits into the crowd? Hector says, alright Tom, in kayfabe, why doesn't Drew get punished for attacking security? Well, hopefully he does. Ooh, Megan, I get you now. I get you now. That I'd be behind. McIntyre popping up behind people is a theme. I was thinking about him and The Undertaker recently, just for the hell of it. It's Elias. It's Elias. The White Rabbit is Elias. What you just said there, Connor, about magician. The White Rabbit's Elias. It's obvious. How did I not see it before? The White Rabbit is Elias. We're getting a replay of the beatdown that Drew just took. He's been left with the strap. He picked the fight there, that's on him. Why was Cross actually coming down to the ring? Because he's going now that Drew has done his thing, but surely Drew wasn't, you know, like in kayfabe, he wasn't there to take a beating, so why would he even come down and then just leave again? Why was he there? Ghost says White Rabbit is a gobbledygooker. Hasn't been seen since 2020, so he's playing everyone like a fiddle as a revenge for people forgetting him. Megan says, I guess that announcement also means that Mox is losing the career versus title match he's got with Nick Gage in a few days. Yep, he'll have to get rid of anything that representing a company that's not recognised as an international partner of AEW. He did want to make sure he got some New Japan work. So does Bryan Danielson, but still hasn't happened yet. Yes, Connor. KJ says, you know, I actually like the idea of LDF versus Hit Row. Hit Row needs something. They haven't done anything yet other than being built, which made sense. You're absolutely right. So far, Hit Row's build has been very calm, very slow, and that's absolutely fine. So, getting them kicked into gear right now works. Kieran says, no way a $6 million contract though, right? Well, he is a coach and a mentor now. He's got additional responsibilities, which make it very, very possible. So I can't really say. I'll work to find out. Right, so Jon Moxley has signed a new 5-year deal. I'm just going to basically say what I'm going to do about this, the fact that I'm going to go and look for further information. Let me get up the actual statement. There it is. What? Thank you, Megan, for bringing this in, by the way. Like, you know I take great pride in being as informed a chat as possible, and you're a large part of that. AW has announced a new 5-year deal for Jon Moxley, who has been working on a handshake agreement during negotiations. His last deal was for $6 million, double what any other wrestler was earning. I'll share more details as soon as I have them. Okay, right. Nice and easy. Bailey says if the White Rabbit is Elias, his entire family is the other characters, Ezekiel, Elrod, and Ernie Jr. See, Elrod will be the magician. Okay, I'm loving the music for Bianca Belair Bailey. You can tell this was Bayley's choice. They're not showing anything about the feud. They're just showing Carnage. I love it. I love how they're building this. Megan says this new contract will have Mox stay with AW into his 40s. Viking Raiders? What's happening with Viking Raiders? Okay, who are they adding to the Viking Raiders? I didn't recognize that voice. Interesting. Kieran says, actually, maybe it could. If CM Punk is gone, that's 3 mil saved. Yeah, but at the moment, not gone. Connor says, the fact it says extension, not new contract, means surely it has to be the same wage as before, hence the additional roles. So certainly a possibility. Ghost says, I just saw a video showing someone dressed up like the White Rabbit in the crowd. I know this is just an innocent cosplay, but imagine someone in a bunny costume destroying everybody at the end of the night. What a vision. I don't think it sounded like Sarah Logan, guys. I don't think it sounded like her at all. Hector says Tony Khan may not have been having the best of times lately, but he knows how to get negative press off his company. The Mox announcement may be to help rid some of the negativity around the Andrade situation. It's a smart move. It is, but he's been working on this one for a while, same as the MJF thing. KJ says, I love how it's like 4 different Extreme commercials because it's so much top matches. Patrick says, who do you think is the New Day's tag team partner? Good question. Let's find out. I was feeling Drew, but Madcap does make the most sense. Or maybe Kevin Owens. So yeah, there's some logical choices there. And after this, we should be straight into the main event. This match won't be the longest, but I can see it with a commercial break taking 10-12 minutes. I'm glad they've not really hyped the possibility of Big E, because there is no possibility of this Big E. Everyone loves New Day. Of course they found a partner. Maybe it's Tyler Breeze. Maybe it's Tyler Breeze, guys. Prince Pretty himself. Fair question though, who? It's Braun Strowman. For those who didn't see the one chip challenge, Braun Strowman basically tricked Xavier Woods and Liv Morgan into... Well, Liv Morgan basically was just living in a bin for a while. It's worth checking out. Braun Strowman does not count as 2 partners, how dare you. For those who haven't seen Up, Up, Down, Down, Braun Strowman tricked Liv Morgan and Austin Creed into the one chip challenge. Liv basically spent an hour in a bin. It's hilarious. Check it out. So this match is definitely not going to be very long. As soon as Braun tags in, it's just going to be choo-choo. People keep saying that to me, Hector. People keep saying that to me. Megan says, common consensus online is that the voice in the video is Sarah Logan, just played at a higher pitch for some reason. Yeah, but she's also a really obvious choice. I like to wait and see what comes of it. If it is, it is. But it seems obvious and unnecessary when you've got so much talent to bring in. And talent in NXT. when she was released, there wasn't much of an uproar, let's be fair. Sean says, do you think we will ever see Tyler Breeze in a WWE ring again? Yeah. Is there interest in bringing Fandango back? Yeah, from Tyler Breeze. KJ says, Bloodline cannot lose. Not true. That's what Sami Zayn is for. Megan says, the one chip video is hilarious. I'll give Braun props for doing that. Just absolutely tricked him. Patrick says, I love Wade on commentary on SmackDown now. I haven't really heard him. Because I'm speaking over it quite a lot because of the watch party. I'm not hearing much of it. Connor says, if Braun counted as two partners, he would not have needed Nicholas that year's WrestleMania versus The Bar. We all need a bit of Nicholas in our lives. Go says, Braun plus New Day equals Braun dancing after the match once again. Don't know if I'm prepared for that. It's a very different Braun Strowman. It is unquestionably a very different Braun Strowman to what we're used to. Bad landing by Kofi. Bad landing by Kofi. Kieran says, who would make sense to fit into a Viking team? Sarah Logan. That's it, the obvious one. Bailey says, is WWE adding too many people to the main roster, or does this suggest the opportunity for more talent getting extended time off? Bit of both. Triple H likes to rotate a lot more, so we'll see more people, but we'll see them less often. Like, with that in mind, you need a bigger roster. So we're in no way full yet. As long as we don't get to like the AEW level, we're pretty happy. As long as they don't get to what they were before the releases started, then we got problems. Jermaine says, realise when Triple H wants to bring these guys back, they're coming back, but on a cheaper deal. What promises that they will get pushed? Some promises, yes, but quite often it's not that case. A lot of the time it's just the fact that Triple H is involved that is their reason for doing it. Megan says, the roster is going to be rotating in and out more. I'm happy for a few extra people to come in. Agreed. Connor says, we've had Big E, we've had Big O, now we have Big B. Let's not forget Big D. Okay? We should always remember Big D. Big D should be mentioned as often as possible. What? Somebody please think of the Big D. Kieran said, if you bring in too many people though, you then get people like FTR moaning about not being used and not being happy. Yeah. Yep, that's how it works. Girl says, there was a video of Braun dancing with New Day at a house show over the weekend, so maybe the rare fun-loving element of his character will remain under certain circumstances. That, when I say it's a new Braun Strowman, that's what I mean. He's human. He's a lot more beatable, which we've seen with Otis. But in addition to that, there is obviously just a more relaxed side to him. Sean says, would love to see you interview New Day, Tom, and they call you Big T. I got called Big T most of the way through college. It would not be unusual for me. Jermaine says, with more people, that means less injuries to happen. Because of these, they can rotate people in and out and give people more time off, which will help improve overall morale. Good idea by Triple H. Yeah. That's very much the plan. You'll also get big names just wrestling less and doing promos and stuff. But it takes time to get there. But this is, it depends how they balance it out. We lost track of the Viking Raiders for a while, but then they popped up in a vignette, which is easy enough to do. You can record 4 or 5 of them and just spread them out over the next few weeks and go home for a month. Why not? Connor says, oh yes, the Big D, that must always be entered into conversation. You're absolutely right. When in doubt, just put in Big D. Just slip in that Big D. That works, right? I know what I'm doing. It's not inside baseball. It's not rocket science. We can do this. We are 2/3 of the way through SmackDown thus far. We currently have 22 viewers on YouTube, 19 likes, pretty good level. Please subscribe if you have not done so already. The crowd are chanting, we want Braun. I'm not sure how I feel about. Like, this Braun Strowman is so much more popular than he was when he left. Just so much more popular. I mean, they genuinely do want Braun. Sounds unusual. And yet here we are. Jermaine says, I already see the match coming. Braun Strowman versus Omos. Yeah, they're actively building towards it. Braun Strowman will be working in a field of giants, essentially. This ain't it, but he'll be working in a field of giants. He'll be wrestling Omos, Commander Aziz, Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, big names and big dudes. Roman naturally will be the bridge, as usual, between the bigger guys and the smaller guys. Go says, Mia Yim's contract with Impact ends this week. Do you think there's any interest from WWE to bring her back, or is it more likely for her to go to AEW and be with Keith? Essentially, it comes down to the offer, because WWE... Triple H might make an offer, but I don't know if he will. AEW also, to my knowledge, not wanting to make an offer at this point in time. Connor says, Tom, very random question. Who has more chance of returning to WWE, CM Punk or James Ellsworth? James Ellsworth. No question. Hater says, I love that Triple H is building a lot of factions that are female performers as well. It's a good way to help build the women's division even more. Mixed factions are definitely something that works out and something that's typical of Triple H as well. Very much works for me as well. Thank you, Megan. I will check that out. Doesn't surprise me. We haven't seen LA Knight so far tonight, but there's still plenty of time for that to change. It does look like Maxine Dupree's, doesn't it? Traffic says, I'll be honest, not a Braun fan, but his matches have been surprisingly good. His opponent's actually getting an offense is winning me over. I'm exactly where you are. I'm not a huge Braun fan. I did not expect him to come in and rock the boat, you know. I didn't expect him to really make an impact. I expected him to come in and just start squashing people. That is not what's happened. He put over Otis in defeat. He really did. And we're getting a much more vibrant side of him. I'll take it. I'll take it. Bailey says, LA Knight is a great talker and the main roster needs someone who can carry a segment. The main roster has several people who can carry segments and several people who are great talkers. For example, you can see them in the ring. Xavier Woods, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, even immediately. You've got several options in that regard. LA Knight certainly adds depth. But I do think you have to recognise that there are a lot of very talented people in that ring right now. Sami and Jey are building their rapport. Jey will give Sami nothing. Nothing. Kofi Kingston being wishboned. Connor says the match is longer than I thought it would be. I expected about this much. We'll go into the last half hour before we get to talking main event. There'll be this, the end of the match, and then a commercial break, and then there we are. They have lost track of Kofi, which is always a bad show. Like, it's Kofi Kingston. Also, for some reason, Jey Uso attacked Xavier Woods, which now guarantees that Braun Strowman's going to come in. Silly. Megan says, give LA Knight a live mic in 5 minutes. I'll be fine with that. I know you would. I know. Sean says, how would LA Knight be presented, heel or face? If he's going to change back to LA Knight, the fans will cheer him. He will be a face. Hector says, my only knock on the new Braun Strowman is that weird colour scheme. Looks like a giant Christmas ad with that gear. Maybe that's the plan. I mean, he just fixed the problem for you. The t-shirt always comes off. Miscommunicated that chokeslam a little. They are still fighting on the outside. This is going to be the finish. Ghost says, we're preparing to go into the last half hour. Let's hope Gunter and Sheamus get all the time they need to go absolutely nuts tonight. I expect that to be the case. Oh, Strowman Express. Here we go. Awkward. Awkward. Michael Cole is just down. Which I kind of love. Braun Strowman sending a message to the Bloodline. He'll have Roman in his sights before you know it. He won't be winning, but he'll have Roman in his sights. And Jimmy Uso takes the pin. Potentially that means a championship opportunity coming. Tag Team Championship, New Day and the Usos at Crown Jewel. I'd take it. Megan says, I'm a woman of simple taste after all. Just give me some eye candy to enjoy. I could do with it after the past few days. KJ says, Michael Cole down. Go says, poor Michael Cole, I feel bad for laughing. No, you don't. He got his knees taken out as well. Michael Cole was trying to avoid it and he just got his knees taken out from him. John says, I remember Braun isn't finished with Roman. Clearly. His involvement here really made that clear. KJ says, hopefully he didn't hurt his knees, but he seems fine. Yeah, getting your knees taken out like that, you just bend them. Like, in the right direction, so you're absolutely fine. Or at least you should be. Like, if not, you got problems. Hector says, if I'm Jimmy, I'd be pissed at both Jay and Sammy. They chose to bicker while he was getting his ass beat. You're right. That's what Sammy's telling him. LA Knight just took out Triple M. The crowd literally chanted the name before he even officially said it. Beautiful. Traffic says, feels like we've seen Usos versus New Day 1,000 times but never been disappointed. It always delivers. It always delivers. Main event up next. I love how the crowd chanted along with LA Knight, even though they had no time to prepare for it. They knew. And they were waiting. Andrew Tate is trending. I'd imagine this is Paul Heyman's fault. Patrick says Michael Cole doing so much better on commentary since Triple H has taken over. You're absolutely right. KJ says Uso kind of ran into him. Didn't really take the bump from Braun. Yeah, that's how it usually goes, unfortunately. Megan says, sorry, Marseille and Mansoir, but yeah. You're simping, Megan. You're simping. And Patrick says, LA Knight is back. Let's go. Connor says, Gunter looks so good with that belt around his waist, and there it will be staying. There it will be staying. There is only one answer here tonight. Only one answer. Anything other than a clear and decisive victory for Gunter is the wrong answer. I said it. I meant it. I stand by it. It would be the wrong answer. Jermaine says, I love it. Max takes out the maximum male models and said, I'm not Max anymore, and said that he is LA Knight. That is exactly what happened, yes. I am wondering now if Max Dupree will regain her name as well. So that we'll have, instead of having Max Dupree and Max Dupree, we'd have neither. Patrick says Gunter needs more gold around his waist. I think he's fine with one. I don't think everyone needs to be a double champion. You might as well just unify everything at that point. Ghost says Roman's waiting backstage to give them all stern talking to while Paul shakes his head like a disappointed mother. They're definitely getting put on punishment. I'd imagine we're going to get a vignette on that before we start our entrances for the main event. Sean says, here's a question for everyone, even you, Tom. As we all know, Becky vs Bianca at WrestleMania has been called 2022 Match of the Year. Do you agree, or did Sheamus vs Gunter overtake that match? That overtook the match for me. Yep, definitely. That overtook it for me. KJ says the main event will be great, but Gunter's entrance is so badass with Imperium. I know, mate. Not actually related. Not actually related. BT are really going for this. Why is no one talking about the fact that we're seeing clips of Charlotte Flair for Extreme Rules? Nobody want to talk about that? Because she's in there. Traffic says as long as Gunter wins tonight, Brawling Bruce can take the win tomorrow. I still think Imperium will take it. But certainly this is helping Sheamus's face credentials. Give me Give me Fight Night versus the Bloodline, and I'll be a happy boy. We're already kind of there. Like, they're teasing it, but they're not quite going the full way. No, Jermaine, I've not watched that. I need to get around to watching 4-4. Moxley says, Roman versus Brock at SummerSlam is still the match of the year. Not there for that one. Hector says, who would have LA Knight feud with first? There's a lot of potential matchups. He's a dark horse, but I think him versus Sheamus, oh look, a White Rabbit, would be good, and you know Sheamus will put a good matchup regardless. I wholeheartedly agree. Is that White Rabbit wearing tartan? That's tease Drew. I bet that actually is Drew. Next week we'll have Kofi Kingston versus Sami Zayn. New Day definitely getting involved with the big boys again. LA Knight will take on Mansoor. As regards LA Knight, logically you have to handle the unfinished business with Triple M first. Jermaine says, plus the Rock's new movie Black Adam looks really good. Definitely will check it out. Bailey says, where does Charlotte land upon her return? SmackDown? Yes, SmackDown. Joey says, giant White Rabbit behind Cole and Barrett. I don't even think that's WWE doing that. I think that's just a fan. We're getting a recap of last week, just Gunter in general. I keep forgetting Drew Gulak's there. Gotta be honest. Fair play, Ghost. Fair play. That definitely wasn't Bray Wyatt, I'll tell you that. Wow, Megan, you are having a moment, aren't you? I'm glad you're having fun, mate. Glad you're having fun. So we are main eventing SmackDown with an Intercontinental Championship match. It wasn't long ago we main evented it with a Tag Team Championship match. And it also wasn't long ago we main evented it with a female Tag Team Championship match. Suddenly there's a lot of championships being defended in main events of Raw and SmackDown, isn't that? That powerbomb always looks so rough because of where he lands. Megan says, getting my eye candy. I've been patient, but been justly rewarded. Thus, you may have to wait a week, but you did get to see some LA Knight in play. Hector says, Imperium being back in full is, as someone once said, what's best for business. Sheamus on his way down to the ring. Chances are this match is only going to have about 20 minutes and there'll be a commercial break in the middle of it. Should still be good though. Stuart says main event title match is how it should be. Gives them some importance. It's the NXT way, I tell you that. Rotating the championships that aren't going to be on a pay-per-view. It's absolutely right. Sheamus is sending his boys to the back. Butch just started coming down anyway, and Rich Holland was like, no, that's not what we're doing. It's not what we're doing. Which is just a lovely little touch. Jermaine said they can always put Maxine Dupree with a returning Sasha Banks and Naomi because technically those two are real models and you get them Maxine Dupree female models. Yeah, I'd rather just have her be a wrestler, but I don't think that's the character they've laid out for her yet. Sean does rightly mention Alexander Wolf, who is no longer with the company. But at the same time, he's still a damn good Imperium, tell you that. About 4%, Connor. That says about a 4% chance we ever see the bar again. Wrestling, I should say. Jermaine says the reason why we're seeing clips for Charlotte at Extreme Rules is because hint hint she might be the White Rabbit. She was definitely sitting behind Michael Cole there. Imperium now on their way down to the ring. The pillars look amazing. Oh, okay, Ghost. I didn't realise he was still wrestling. Imperium at the moment, not going back. Sheamus has come down solo. Imperium has not been sent away. Yes, KJ, Dave did report that. We spoke about it earlier on during spoiler warning. Yes, it means someone doesn't want to give a statement. Someone has refused to be involved in the investigation. Someone's gone all Donald Trump on them. Imperium are now heading to the back. It is just going to be the two men themselves. Hector says Sheamus and Wade Barrett on the same show. League of Nations revival confirmed. No. No. There may have been a little tension between the two of them way back when. A fight at a WrestleMania that means that Sheamus will not be particularly happy to see Wade Barrett. Oh, Tommy Dreamer, Megan. Interesting. I love how she says brawling brutes. I mean, you're putting power into that ring announcing. Sheamus and Gunther just staring at each other. Rolling the R as well. He wanted to look at her and just be like, well done. Both men are feeling the moment. This should be big. Name drop for progress there. We'll see it at WrestleMania soon, Horsey. We will see it then. And we're off. We're starting, as you might expect, with just good old-fashioned scrapping. Load of punches. Chops are already starting. And Gunther is down. Sean says, does Gunther move up to the Undisputed Championship after his IC title reign is over? It depends when his IC title reign is over. I don't see him losing now, and forever is a long time. Bailey says, Wade Barrett seems like a short-term fix, even with McAfee returning in January. He is not. He is there full-time. I can't help but feel that Sheamus and Gunther have really upped the pace here from their previous match. They are wrestling within the confines of commercial breaks. We are going to end on about 20 minutes for this final match, this main event. It's not a bad amount of time. Jermaine says, to quote Big E, we're about to get two beefy men slapping meat. He did love the meat slapping, didn't he? Big E was all about the meat slapping. Go says, if Gunther wins, I'm assuming the Brawling Brutes pick up the win tomorrow night and vice versa. I'm assuming the exact opposite. I'm assuming Gunther wins and Imperium win at the weekend. This is a new WWE. It's no longer the case that you get 50-50 booking the day before a pay-per-view. I haven't seen the latest video, Horsey, but it's not just a Bray tease. That one might be, but there is still plenty of additional that has teased other people. KJ says, Drew would be my pick to beat Gunther, maybe at Mania next year. I would love it if we got Drew versus Gunther at Mania. I would love it even more if Drew lost. Drew's in danger of becoming a bit of a John Cena. Obviously, he can't beat Roman, but nobody can beat Roman, so that's living in its own independent bubble. Becoming a bit of a John Cena for me. Patrick says, give me a best of 7 series of Gunther Sheamus. At the moment, that would finish 4-0 to Gunther. Sometimes that's what it's got to be. Sometimes that is what it's got to be. Ghost says, also Bobby Fish is now in the ring of Bound for Glory and his hometown crowd is chanting CM Punk. Stuart says, do you see Pat commentating over on NXT on his return so he has a lighter travel schedule for his extracurricular work? Nope. Kieran says, does Pat McAfee join Raw or NXT when he returns then? Neither. He returns to SmackDown. I spoke earlier about the discussions currently ongoing as regards Pat McAfee's return. There's a very exciting one as well that I really like the idea of. Hector said if Pat McAfee isn't going back to commentary and is going to wrestle more, I have a sneaky suspicion his new contract may have a tad more money on it than his previous one. Oh, it do. Oh, it do. Not a tad. Oh, it do. Bailey says, how about Gunther Sheamus in a 30-minute Iron Man match? Give him, why 30? Give him 60. Give him 60. Yes, Kieran, WWE have said he will return to the announcement booth. There's a lot of time between now and then. A lot of time. Sean says, can't really say Roman can't be beat. Seth beat him at Royal Rumble. Nope, Roman beat himself at the Royal Rumble. Very different scenario. I know it sounds like a cop-out, and it is, but it's also not. Now that I'm parenting, I find myself doing that particular phrase quite a lot. Well, I know it's this, and it is, but it's also not. We have another White Rabbit teaser. Like, there's a point at which they've overdone it this time. Okay, we good? We good? Yes, feed your head. Great song, by the way. I love that song. Bailey says, a 60-minute Iron Man match, the blood will spill. Yes, it will. It'll be everywhere. The mat will be ruined forever. They'll never be able to use it again. Oh, apparently Gunter's already bleeding. Not a surprise. Girl says, Matt Cardona has now returned in this Battle Royal. Maybe Impact is giving more bangers than we thought. Well, they're not Sheamus, I'll tell you that. Sheamus is... his chest looks raw. Sean says, White Rabbit is John Morrison. I wouldn't hate it. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't hate it. The crowd still seems hot for this match, which tells me they have not exactly been sat relaxing and doing rest holds during the commercial break. Zai says, tonight feels like White Rabbit if Vince had done it far less subtle. Yeah, there's no subtlety at all. Everything is White Rabbit. Everything. Hector says, Tom, is there any match stipulation that Vince phased out that you'd like to see back? For me, it's 3 stages of hell plus the head of creative is very fond of the match. I do think we could see the 3 stages of hell. Logically, Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins is perfect for that. But I do worry at like levels of escalation. Megan says, Johnny Rabbit doesn't quite work. But you have to admit, he would give it a hell of a go. Johnny White? Nah, don't work. Don't work. Kieran says, Championship Scramble was always fun. Was it? The wrestlers hated it. The wrestlers hated it. I'd like to see a few more tornado tags. But I think we'll get more tournaments. Some network special tournaments as well. I'll take it. Johnny Bunny. Johnny Rampant Rabbit? We got options. Johnny got options. Johnny Fly. Connor also wants to see a championship scramble back. How dare all of you? Sheamus is battered. Already looking battered. He's holding his boob. He's got an ouchie on his boob. Brings a new meaning to the term boo-boo. Kieran says it was fun just seeing Brian Kendrick having his hand raised as champion for a few minutes. Yeah, that was a moment. Ghost says, what if the White Rabbit is just an elaborate way for Bad Bunny to promote new merch? I thought about this, and I would really enjoy that too. But I do think it's possible that we see a fake White Rabbit, like a false White Rabbit, who then eventually gets attacked by Bray Wyatt. I just think that makes the most sense, to tease the crowd to a false positive. Bailey says, will they ever bring back Mixed Match Challenge? Thought it was a fun way to elevate the mid-card. I really enjoyed the Mixed Match Challenge. Unfortunately, the Facebook system that they created it to advertise just didn't really go very far. Just didn't go very far at all. Also, he says Sheamus looks in genuine pain. He is in genuine pain. Like, he is in genuine pain. That's the thing. He made a choice to be willing to be seriously hurt for these. And, yeah, every match he gets seriously hurt nowadays. Connor says, I would say I quite like I Quit matches back, but But Tripp's already done that. Kieran says, that was actually fun, just sucks it was Facebook only. Live stream it on YouTube, it gets way more views. I would agree with that. Though I wouldn't mind a network special. Works for me, just have couples. You could potentially have the audience vote on the pairings. That'd work for me. Jermaine says, people have to remember these video teasers they're doing for the White Rabbit. Reminds me back in the day, Y2J videos before Chris Jericho showed up. That being said, it might mean someone else. It will mean someone else. Chris Jericho is not coming back to WWE right now. Sean says, flag match? I don't want a flag match. Maybe the Asylum match? I don't want an Asylum match. I don't want either of those options. Flag matches are just massively insulting to somebody. That sort of nationalism is Vince McMahon all over. I don't want it. And the Asylum match was insulting to John Moxley. Like, you're wild, you're dangerous, you like mops. No, I don't. No. It's not right. It's not right. We have just over 10 minutes left of WWE SmackDown, and that's good because your boy's getting tired. I haven't done a big yawn yet, but it's coming. It's coming. Hector says, considering that the White Rabbit song by Jefferson Airplane is a licensed song, and I feel like WWE paid money for it to be played at more than just house shows, have the lights go off, have the song playing in the ring instead of Bray's old head lantern. It's a bloody rabbit head as the lantern then lights off. So I says, I miss the hair versus hair matches, actual real life ramifications. It is a real shame because we were going to get bald Sonya Deville. And she would have been badass like that too. Connor, the Punjabi prison match is an insult to viewers because they can't see anything. It's, oh. You guys are making some calls now, and it's not the hot takes I was expecting. Kevin says, I hope the Fiend doesn't overshadow Carrion or Dexter Lumis. Oh, he absolutely will. He absolutely will. They'll be nothing compared. Kieran says, Sonya would have pulled off bald so good like G.I. Jane. Good call, and I completely agree. That's a great reference, Kieran. I've actually seen that film. It's got Viggo Mortensen in it, so naturally I have. Viggo Mortensen is one of the most beautiful men in the world. So I kind of have to. I'm out of Fanta. Also, I forgot about that spider. Is it creeping on my leg? Has it come down yet? Where are you? Also, why? Like, is this a good room to? I don't know. Sai says Christmas ads. I did see that. I didn't want to reference it. Jermaine says, Tom, your idea of spoiler warning for Pat McAfee was awesome. And him doing that will make him the second person next to Jerry, the King Loyal, to pull that off. It would be beautiful and I'd really enjoy it. Fair, Kieran. Fair. Hector says, instead of a strap match, they should have put Drew and Karen in a boiler room brawl match. That I could get behind. Good old-fashioned boiler room brawl. I'd like to see more submissions matches. Not necessarily I Quit, because I don't want to verbalise it, but matches that you can't win by pinfall, so you have to learn some submission moves. I'd love it if Samoa Joe did return and he was just like, no, submission match. Well, no, it's not for a championship. Oh, whoa. Submission match, though. And just everything he does was submission matches. Kevin says, 2 hour shows are easy to book over 3 hour shows. Agreed. We could have had a lot more for SmackDown today. I can't sit here and say it's been the greatest SmackDown of all time, but the Bloodline have been good. You know this match is good, and it has been quite fun. We saw the New Day come back into contention. Braun Strowman got a good run out. We had a women's match, a women's tag team match, and the fans are into it, so what's not to like? I'd like King of the Ring to return. Girl says, worst WWE matches are Evening Gown, Kiss My Feet, Hug Pen, and the aforementioned Kennel from Hell matches. I did aforemention that, didn't I? Connor says, I want to see Pat or Wade do what Booker T did in TNA. Just play by play your own beatdown. I'd get behind that. I could definitely get behind that. Just a little nod to Booker T. It was perfect. Perfect. Thank you for reminding people, Patrick. If you are watching on YouTube, please do remember to hit that thumbs up. Every like makes a big difference. Sheamus literally just waiting while the camera zooms in. And every subscriber helps as well. We're currently sitting at, in fact, let's actually double check this just to make sure I'm on the right one. $1,678 subscribers. Pretty good place to be, but let's keep going. So close to 1,680, and then on we go to 1,700. The plan, as I've mentioned, is to be at 2,000 by the end of the year. In order to achieve that, we need just over 100 per month. Just over 100 per month. Perfectly achievable. We've certainly done it before, and I'll be creating as much content as I can to make that happen. Traffic says Gargano versus Samoa Joe submission match. I'd take that. That could be a lot of fun. Stuart says proper hardcore 24/7. None of the Benny Hill chases would be fine with me. Like Houdini hardcore stuff. I could take it. Hector says I know the Inferno match was a gimmick match that was catered towards Taker and Kane, but I can see a world where the Fiend could be in one. That could be a good time. I can see that. Yeah, that's a good call. It would take someone wearing a lot of padding, so yeah, he's the only one really. The big issue when it came to The Undertaker and Kane is that Undertaker wasn't wearing any actual protection. So you knew he was not getting set on fire. Whereas Kane would wear cover on both arms rather than just one, making it very clear that he was going to be taking the loss. So I says he's punched multiple holes in Sheamus' chest again. It's got to hurt for a long time. Yeah, and then they're going to do it all again tomorrow. I think that's the bigger issue here. They're going to do it all again tomorrow. Sean, no, I'm not planning to do a watch party for Halloween Havoc. So they have established that the powerbomb is Gunter's finisher. Sheamus has just kicked out of it. This feels like a big moment until you consider Gunter doesn't really have a finisher. Kevin, welcome mate. Says, I wish the White Rabbit to be Mr. McMahon. Everybody's going to be mad at me for laughing. I would laugh at it. I'd hate it, but I'd laugh at it. Okay, just says Sheamus is so over. He just got thousands to count to 10 3 times. What do you do? What do you do? Hector says, I assume that's why MVP was set on fire considering his gear. Yep, spot on. It's all about the gear. And Ghost says Sheamus' chest is going to hurt like hell for at least 2 weeks. Don't forget, you also have to add on all the damage that's going to be done tomorrow. A Sheamus chant from the crowd. He's probably more over than he's ever been before. I've not seen History of Violence, Jermaine, but I know it's got Vigo, so I need to check it. Sean says White Rabbit is Miro. White Rabbit is Lana. Maybe White Rabbit's Lana. She's available. Oh, traffic. That is disgusting and probably accurate. Ugh. I hate what's just happened. Sheamus is getting a run. Going to try to escape the submission. Looked like he was tapping there. That was only one tap. That wasn't a tap. That was not a tap. She could see it. She could see it. She's right. Hector says I have a weird feeling Sheamus gets a kick out of taking all of Gunter's chops. The guy likes pain. That's a fact. I believe that's the visible tap to protect Sheamus. Oh, Imperium are here. They're not running into the ring though. Oh, well there you go then, Patrick. The obvious choice turns out to be the right one. Megan says, breaking news. This match is great. In other news, grass is green, sky is blue. Sammy Guevara needs to shut up more often. All very obvious things. I'm wondering why why Fight Night have attacked Imperium. They weren't at... Oh, bloody hell. Pete Dunne just got thrown. They weren't actually involved in the match. Girl says, Bully Ray won the Battle Royal. I don't know what to say. Nothing good. There is nothing good to say. Now, Jermaine, he didn't tap. One slap is not necessarily a tap. There's plenty of people who show frustration with a slap. Seth Rollins does it all the time, but it's not a tap. Sean says, I think one time that happened when one tap happened was when Carlito lost the IC title to Ric Flair. Well, it shouldn't have. And Gunter has escaped with the championship. The whole point here, Gunter not necessarily always focus on the heel aspect, but Sheamus is the face and they want to reinforce that. The whole point of this is making sure people get behind Sheamus, and it's working. Working in a big way. We have a couple of minutes left. Gunter just communicated his thanks to Sheamus. Indeed, Patrick. Very good match. I like how Gunter hid the shillelagh just underneath him. It's quite nice to know. The fight is still ongoing outside. Gunter has decided not to bother helping. Well, we finally got to the point where we actually were pushing Extreme Rules, which is nice. And very, very necessary, because that was a terrible go-home show, but still an alright SmackDown. SmackDown itself, I'll say good. But my word, what an awful attempt at a go-home show. Awful. Anyway, it is 3 a.m. I am going to wrap up here. We have had 932 views. We've had 22 likes. And we are currently at a new record high for subscribers. Huge thanks to everyone. We will see you tomorrow for Extreme Rules, starting from the pre-show onwards from there. In the meantime, massive thanks to everyone who's joined us. I've been Tom Colohue. You've been fantastic. I'll see you all tomorrow.